could be some visibility for you because your name could appear, right? And actually what happens is after the session, this is recorded on Zoom and I will pull it down, put it up on YouTube, and it will be public on YouTube. So we can't actually see your name on YouTube, but we will see your face. Okay, so it's a little way of building some visibility for yourself. As we start the broadcast, I'm going to collapse the video pane down in my view so that in the playback, the only pane that you'll see right now will be my video pane in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. But later on, when we move into Q&A, I will open up the whole video pane so we can see everyone. All right, so we are here today for 6 tips on using LinkedIn for business development. And these are, gosh, common mistakes, and if you cringe when I see them happening. And I put them together in an action-packed 30-minute segment to deliver them to you. So let's go ahead and get started. The time is now 9:02, and I usually tell people, let's give it a few minutes until after the session started, and then let's introduce ourselves in chat. Now, let me give you some instructions on this first, okay? You don't need to say, hi, my name is Howard Rush, because Zoom already says Howard Rush above you, so we don't need to see that. What I want you to do, though, is just a quick one-line description of your company. Tell us the name of your company, tell us what you do. And then if you could drop your LinkedIn URL in here as well. And I want to show you a little trick on this, guys. So if I were to, I'm going to pull up my LinkedIn and kind of show you this up on screen. I'm going to drag my LinkedIn onto the screen real quick here. If you go onto LinkedIn, if you open up your LinkedIn in another window, and then if you're on the home page when you first get started, if you click on either your name or your photo, that will take you to your profile. And at the top in that address bar will be your LinkedIn URL. Now, if you only grab the www and drop that into chat, then the only thing, the limitation of that, it's not going to be blue and it's not going to be clickable. Okay, so it makes it a little bit harder for people that are in these webinars if we want to connect with you. And my little hack is I just kind of have this on my desktop so I can just copy and paste it and drop it in and not have to type it in every time. So I know you guys are all doing virtual networking because that's all we can do right now, right? If I were you, I'd put this in like a Word doc or a notepad. Make sure that you have the HTTPS version of your description and then drop that into any of these Zoom sessions that you go on, not just this one today, but if you go to a Troy Chamber event, a Detroit Economic Club, Toastmasters meeting, get comfortable using this introduction technique. It's a little bonus technique here for you guys on how to build your LinkedIn network. So I want you guys to practice this right now. Go into chat, introduce yourself. Tell us the name of your company and give us a one-line description. What do you do? Okay, just give us that quick elevator pitch, if you will. Also include your LinkedIn URL so that we can invite you to connect on LinkedIn. And I'm just testing this out right now. Chris, who is in the webinar, put her LinkedIn URL, and I'm going onto Chris's profile. I can see that Chris and I are already first level connections on LinkedIn, which is great. So nice to see you, Chris. Thank you so much for joining and for being the first person. And Chris is an empowerment leadership coach. So if you're looking for those services, check this out. This is a little bit of business development for you guys as well, a little bit of prospecting. Don't be shy. This is an opportunity to spread the word about who you are, what your business is all about, and giving you some additional visibility for the work that you're doing. So do this in every session, not just today's session, but do this in every webinar you go into from this point forward, that one-line description of yourself. Okay, so about me, my name is Brenda Meller. My company is Meller Marketing, and I help people unlock the power of LinkedIn. I've been doing this as an independent marketing consultant for a little over 3 years now. I don't work for LinkedIn or Microsoft. I work for myself. And if I'm being honest, I work for you, right? You're my clients. So delighted to have all of you here. Now, I am pretty good at teaching people LinkedIn, but I'm going to say I'm not a miracle worker. I'm not going to be able to teach you everything within a 30-minute segment. So consider today, if you will, a free sample. Kind of like when in the pre-COVID days, you would go to the fruit market and they would have a little cheese sample out there and you'd try a little bite of it. And then if you wanted to buy more, you'd go back to the deli counter later, right? So today is your free sample of me. If you're interested in working more with me one-on-one, I'll have some information later on in the webinar, and I'll also be emailing you some links and instructions if you'd like to proceed. So what we're going to be covering today here is up on screen. We're going to be going through my 6 tips on using LinkedIn for business development, optimizing your profile, having a business page, being strategic about invitations, engaging daily, posting daily, and being active. Okay. And I'm going to teach you some mistakes that I see people making along the way as well. Hopefully you're not making them. Maybe you're not even aware that you're making them. So I hope to course correct you there. Yes, it's perfectly okay if you want to take photos throughout the presentation. Yeah, I'm going to send you the playback and you can download the slides, but I know how it is. Probably never going to check that email, right? So if you want to take a screen capture, feel free. If there's something helpful that you want to remember. If you're not comfortable with those screen clipping tools, I know you got your phone like right in front of you, right? So just open up your camera on your phone, turn it sideways, because then you can get a nice horizontal photo and take a picture. And if you want to share anything on social media, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Facebook, Instagram, feel free. All I would ask is that you either tag me, Brenda Meller, or at Meller Marketing when you share those posts along. All right, so let's get started. My first tip for you guys is to optimize your profile. And the biggest mistake I see people making is that they treat LinkedIn the same way as they do their resume. And they basically copy and paste their information from their resume into their LinkedIn. Well, guess what? If you're using LinkedIn for business development, you're not looking for a job, you're looking for clients. So your LinkedIn is going to read in a way that kind of makes your clients go, wait, are they trying to sell to me? Or are they trying to get a job, right? So let's think about optimizing our profile. And I like to use the analogy of a sculptor, okay? So I think about the statue that's in the financial district in New York City and the little girl with her hands on her hips, right? And I think about when the artist originally got that slab of whatever, steel or metal or whatever, it was probably in a rectangular block, and it became a work of art because of what the artist sculpted out and what they kept in, right? Your LinkedIn profile should be the same way. Think about who is your ideal target audience. That's who you're writing your profile for. Look at your profile from top to bottom, every item in there. Does this make sense for my next customer, right? If it looks like a resume sounding statement, it's probably shouldn't be in your profile, okay? I like to think about writing it for my ideal audience, filling out all the areas they give you. I'm an opportunistic marketer. So if LinkedIn gives me a spot, I'm gonna put something in that spot. One, because I know it will help me to come up in more searches. And two, because when I get the right people on my profile, I wanna keep them staying there a little bit longer. Okay. And I do want you to think about you're writing your profile for really two kind of audiences, if you will. One is a person. That's your ideal target audience, your next customer, right? The other is the computer. You're actually writing your profile so that it is keyword rich, so that we're bringing pulled up in the right searches on LinkedIn, because there's an algorithm that's running behind the scenes, and that's going to determine whose profile comes up in searches, which posts come up in the homepage feed, how long do they stay there, okay? So I want you to think about writing it for a person, but also writing it for a computer. And I'm not going to go through my entire profile checklist, but I do want to leave you with just a few pointers on here. And I'm just showing you a quick screen capture of my profile. This is as of today. So here's the first thing. At the very top of your profile, there's that rectangular block that sits behind your headshot photo. That's a space for advertising or marketing you and your business. So if I were you, if you're using LinkedIn for business development, what are you promoting right now? What is a key product or service? What's an upcoming event that you'd like to promote? Almost think about that like a billboard on the side of a highway or like a web banner. So what are you looking to promote right now? And I will update that monthly. And I just swapped mine out yesterday. I'm working on promoting my book. I published my first book at the beginning of the year. And I learned from a friend, how to create this QR code tool. And if you actually hold up your phone to the computer right now and just open up your camera app. And if you hover over that little QR code, I'm not sure if it's going to work in here. I think you might have to go to my profile. It's not working on mine. I'm not sure if it's my phone is blurry. Oh, there it goes. So if you hover over it, it will say open Meller Marketing in Safari. So it's a way of driving you guys back to my website, right? Cool little technique, something I just learned yesterday. Feel free, if you like it, if you go on my header right underneath that QR code, I tell you the name of the website where I created that tool, and I can color it. I can put my logo in the middle. So I like to think about this space as a place to draw people into my profile and to use that space to advertise or promote my business. Okay. Also in here, if you have not done this year, click on your contact info. Check and make sure, is your contact information all still accurate? Definitely click on every link that you have in there. So there might be a link in there that's not working anymore. You didn't even know it, right? So check your contact info. If you're using LinkedIn for business development, you've got to make sure that your contact info is accurate. The links are all working. Everything is relevant still in there. And then at the bottom, not at the bottom, still top of your profile, but underneath kind of your dashboard, you're going to see this section now that's called featured. This is kind of like when you go to the grocery store At the end of the aisle, I think they call them end caps. That's where they promote their featured products for the week. And I like to think about using this space to promote what are my featured products and insights for the week. And I like to think about it the same way the grocery store does. I'm going to swap out different things in there every single week. If you don't have the featured section enabled yet, at the top of your profile, there's a little button that says add section. Hover over that and then click on add featured, and it'll include instructions on how to add items in there. You can feature posts, you can feature articles, you can point them to external links. I will promote upcoming events, for example. I promote my coaching services as well. So use that featured section to promote your key products and services and swap those out about weekly. Feel free to look at my profile as inspiration, guys. I'm just giving you a few of these items here. Do keep in mind, though, I do offer profile optimization as a service. So if you want some help, I can help you out there. All right, so that's a little bit on optimizing your profile. Let's shift now into my second tip for you guys, which is to have a business page, okay? Now, if you do not have a company page set up on LinkedIn, what we're gonna see is in the top of your profile, in that kind of header region, as well as in your experience section, we're gonna see a little gray avatar. And they recently are kind of swapping these things out. The old gray avatar is like all gray with a building. The new one is kind of like a light gray with the blue-gray buildings. If you have that gray avatar, I want you to think about this, guys. Gray is not okay. Because what happens if I want to do business with you and I look at your LinkedIn profile and I see this gray avatar? Immediately, like that, I'm making a quick judgment call about you. I'm either thinking you don't really work there because it's not linked to a page. There's no logo in there, right? Or you're working out of your basement, or this is not well established. Like, and any of those things, it's kind of like visiting a website where you get a 404 page error. It says website not found. It immediately makes us question whether or not your business is legitimate, okay? So don't give people the wrong impression. Set up a business page. It's free to do so on LinkedIn. And then once you get it set up, just make sure that it is linked to your profile and that gray avatar will go away and your logo will appear there instead. I do have a blog on setting up your company page. I'll include instructions in that in the playback. And if you do need help with setting up your company page or giving a once over on your page, giving you some strategy tips, I do offer that as a coaching service. So let me know. All right. So that's my second tip for you guys, is to have a business page on LinkedIn. If you're using LinkedIn for business development, you got to have it, right? And I just want to show you in comparison, the last profile compared to this profile. Now, if Aaron Stone was reaching out to me and he was offering me help on my Google SEO or anything like that, and I look up on his profile and I see Rev Local, right? And that immediately legitimizes his business for me. I have no questions about whether or not Aaron works for a real business. He's got some nice branding in his header. He's got his company page that's linked in there. And you can check out Aaron's profile if you'd like, if you're interested in learning more about his SEO services. All right, so that's my second tip, to have a business page. Now let's move into my third tip, and this is to be strategic about invitations. I'm curious, for those of you on the session right now, how many of you are personalizing every invitation? Go into chat if you can and just say yes or say no. Do you personalize every invitation? Do you include a note to every person that you send an invitation out to? I'm kind of curious. So go into chat and just say yes. Do you personalize every invitation, or say no? And if you don't, that's okay. But I want to teach you this technique. And I'm seeing Donna saying absolutely, Beth saying yes. Chris, who bought my book, thank you so much, Chris, is saying yes, she's taking notes in her copy of Social Media Pie. So glad to see. So there is a rise right now. You've probably noticed there are people reaching out to you saying, hey, I can help you with automating your LinkedIn prospecting. Have you noticed that? Has anybody pitched you on that yet? If they do, please run for the hills, because automation is banned by LinkedIn. Eventually you will get caught and you will get your account locked up. You'll get thrown into LinkedIn jail, and then you know who you're going to be calling. Me. I'm going to be your phone call. Automation is not allowed by LinkedIn. It's a violation of terms of service, but there is a rise in people offering automation assistance right now, how to grow your LinkedIn network faster. And here's an example, and we can smell these, right, from a mile away. I got one just the other day, and it was similar, and it sounded like this. Brenda, yes, I have a product that would benefit you greatly. I look forward to connecting. And I knew this was spammy, right? So I replied back, and this is what I do now. I just reply back with the word test, T-E-S-T. That's all I do. I reply back with test. The real people they're going to reply back right away and they're going to say, what did you mean by test? Or did I pass or something clever? And I know it's a real person. The automated tools, they don't know. They just know that if response equals not null, right? Not void, not a non-response, then here's what you send them as a second message. So this person didn't even read it because it's automated. And they sent me a follow-up note. And the irony here, hey, Brenda, thank you for connecting. No, I did not connect, by the way. Let me ask you a question. How many people do you find that don't read your profile, even though you ask them to read it? Do you guys see the irony here? This person didn't read my response, right? I have no desire to work with this person, even though maybe I do want to make 20,000 plus per year, right? I have no desire to work with this person because they're using automation. So be strategic about invitations. What I recommend that you do is when you send someone an invitation, if you've met them, like let's say, for example, the people on this webinar, invite them to connect with you. Mention, hey, we were both on Brenda's LinkedIn business development webinar today. Let's connect on LinkedIn. Hi, first name. And I want to enlist the help of my friend Inigo Montoya to help you with this formula right now. So name that movie. If you guys have seen that movie, go into chat right now. Name that movie, tell me what that movie is, and let's see who can guess it first. And this movie line is a great example of the elements of a LinkedIn invitation. So in the movie, he says, hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father, prepare to die. He has all of the great elements of a LinkedIn invitation. He has a polite greeting. He offers his name. He gives a relevant personal link, and he is managing expectations. Okay. Now, please don't tell people prepare to die, because if you do so on LinkedIn, you'll probably get yourself kicked off of the network and maybe the police call to your house. But this is going to help you to remember to use a personalized invitation. So let's see. Did anyone guess the movie? Do you guys know what that movie that is? Go into chat. Tell me that movie if you know what movie that is. I'm curious if anyone knows it. So I want you to be like Inigo when you send out an invitation. Hi, first name, right? So that's kind of that polite greeting and giving your name. And then a relevant personal link. So if you have met, tell them where. If you haven't met, look at their profile. Spend 30 seconds to a minute looking at their profile. It's time well spent. Find an item or two that you have in common or something interesting that you can comment on. And the item might be, hi, Howard, we haven't met, but we're both in Metro Detroit and we share several common connections, including, and I might name drop somebody else, including Michelle Broccoli, right? So use something that you're reading from the profile to demonstrate to the person that you've actually taken the time to read through your profile. All right, guys, nobody could guess that movie. Has anybody not, you guys have not seen this movie at all. This movie is The Princess Bride. So in the movie, he says this like several times when he's encountering the person he thinks killed his father. But he is managing expectations, right? He's telling people, here's what's going to happen next. Now, in your LinkedIn invitation, the only goal is to get that invitation accepted. Nowhere in here should you be pitching your products or services, because that will tend to scare people off. Instead, the only ask is let's connect on LinkedIn. Okay, that's it. Because the goal is to get that invitation accepted. Once they've accepted it, then you have the opportunity to message them back and forth. But you've got to get over that first hurdle, if you will, and that is to get that accepted. Okay, short and sweet. This formula will be very effective at improving your engagement rate and getting more of those invitations accepted. So be like Inigo when you're sending out your invitations. My fourth tip for you guys is to engage daily. And I'm going to add in parentheses here, just like email. So I want you to think about this. Your LinkedIn homepage feed is essentially a communication channel. It's a place that people are sharing information, okay? Where other places do we share information? Well, in our email inbox, right? You might be sending messages out and you're waiting to see who replies back, or people might be sending messages to you, right? That is a communication channel. Now, we're trained on that email, aren't we? We go to that email every single day. If not, I have mine open in the background and I'm always checking for messages coming in from new clients, from current clients, right? So that's a communication channel I am tuned into all the time. I want you to start treating your LinkedIn homepage feed the same way. I want you to engage every single day. Go into that homepage feed and spend 15 minutes a day building up social media karma. What do I mean by that? Social media karma is kind of like, the karma concept is what you put out to the universe comes back to you. On LinkedIn, social media karma exists. When you engage with other people's posts, if you add a like, add a reaction, maybe if you add a comment and the comment is 5 or more words, that's going to help to get you greater levels of engagement as well. And I know if I go onto Maureen Rowis's post and I add a comment on there and I help to broadcast that to my network, Maureen's going to want to return that favor to me later on. Even if she doesn't, I know that by doing so, and you can see, for example, Vicky Servant Estelle commented on Maureen's post. Well, guess what? Vicky just popped up into the homepage feed again. So Vicky's building visibility for herself. So I want you to focus on this technique, spending 15 minutes in the homepage feed every single business day. Treat this like a communication channel the same way you treat your email. Okay. It's a great way of learning about people in your network and also keeping yourself visible and also building up that social media karma. Okay. Now, moving on, I want to go on to my fifth tip, and this involves posting daily on LinkedIn. If you're not posting at all, you need to start by at least posting once a week. So it's kind of like fitness. I'm not going to say go run a 5K tomorrow if you've never run before, but at least take a walk around the block today, right? Like start small. So start by posting at least once a week, but I want you to work up to gradually posting once a day, every single business day. And I want to show you a recent example. Chris is on a team that I recently delivered LinkedIn team training, and we do follow-up phone calls. During our follow-up phone call, I helped Chris walk through the process of sharing a post on LinkedIn. And he hadn't posted in a long time, wasn't getting a lot of engagement. We posted this. I kind of helped him walk him through the process. He posted this, and a few hours later, he sent me this message, and I asked if I could share this with permission. He said, absolutely. And he said, thanks, Brenda. A few hours after we sent the post, I got a call from one of my contacts to catch up on what we are doing in clean energy. Mic drop, walk away. I was like, wow, that's amazing. This works. When you post daily, what happens is you get into the homepage feed. People are going to start to see your posts more and more often. Mostly what happens is when we connect with people on LinkedIn, we quickly blend into the background, especially if you're not spending any time in the homepage feed, if you're not posting at all. But be like Chris. Go onto LinkedIn and post and try to think about information that's relevant to your industry, trends that you're seeing, maybe client industries that you're working with, problems that you solve, maybe even free tips or free samples, blogs or videos or things like that. Share those on LinkedIn, and you could be like Chris. You could get somebody seeing that post. And in this case, I don't even think the person replied back. They didn't like or comment, but they did reach out to him and they said, hey, I saw your post. What are you guys doing on clean energy? So this technique works. So my fifth tip for you guys is to post daily on LinkedIn to keep engaging on a regular basis. All right. My sixth tip for you guys is to be active. And if you guys follow me, you know I love pie, right? And pie is like my favorite thing in the world, right? I also like to find fun pie graphics, and here's a pie chart that I really like. We all have 24 hours in a day, right? And maybe there's a segment of the day you're making toast, right? And you're just sitting around in the kitchen. And what do we do while we're waiting for toast to pop up? We tend to get the butter and utensils out. We line everything up on the counter. We clean up the kitchen a little, get all the crumbs off, put the bread away, and then we stare at the toaster, right? And I think about all of us have 24 hours in a day, and we have times in the day, like the time that we're waiting for the toaster to come up, where we could be doing other things. And I would encourage you to take those little segments of time and put them together and spend a little bit more time on LinkedIn. Spend 15 minutes a day on LinkedIn every single day. Biggest mistake I see people making is, having a LinkedIn account and then kind of keeping their fingers crossed, waiting for the prospects to come in, or they're only doing pitching all the time, right? And they don't spend any time being active on the platform. So don't make that mistake. I want to encourage you to spend 15 minutes a day on LinkedIn every single business day, spending some time in that homepage feed, scrolling through, building up your social media karma, posting. You can do that in 15 minutes a day. And you can I've got 5 categories. So maybe Monday, you visit the homepage for 15 minutes. Tuesday, you post, right? Maybe on Wednesday, you go through those invitations that you've received and maybe reply back to them, start to screen people in, accept invitations, message them, right? That's 15 minutes. Maybe Thursday, you can reply to messages that you've received on LinkedIn, right? And then Friday, maybe then you spend that time searching for targeted leads and sending them a personalized invitation. And you can mix and match, right? Here's just a few ideas on how you could spend 15 minutes a day on LinkedIn. But you do need to make it a pattern of activity that is going to help you to get more results on LinkedIn over time. It's not just going to deliver leads to you. You have to work for it. You have to build up visibility for yourself and also build up that social media karma within your network. And then LinkedIn is going to start to pay dividends to you, and you're going to start to see some of those results. All right, guys. So these were the 6 tips again for you. We talked about optimizing your profile, having a business page, being strategic about invitations, engaging daily, posting daily, and being active on LinkedIn. As we start to wind down the session here today, I do want to remind you, this is kind of a free sample. So if you'd like to work with me, I'd love the opportunity to help you with LinkedIn coaching. I'll give you a quick overview right now of this, and then we're going to move into Q&A. So don't drop off. We're going to have some time for Q&A here. If you want to work with me, I do offer one-on-one strategy assistance. I have a 2-hour coaching session, or we could do a 30-minute phone call. During that time, it's delivered through Zoom. It's recorded, and I'll send you a playback. So if you'd like to set up one of those one-on-one calls on Zoom, I'll send you instructions on how to do so. I do also offer profile building. So if you don't want to go through that process of optimizing your profile, rewriting everything from top to bottom, I can do that for you. This is what I do for a living, and I'm a marketer by background. So I'm always thinking about your target audience, your business goals, your career goals, and I can craft a wonderful looking profile for you. So let me know if you're interested in that. I do also offer, if you're in career transition, an online course, and it's called LinkedIn for Job Seekers. It's a 4-part series. You get access to that course for just $29.99 for 6 months. So if you're in career transition, check that out. Or if you know somebody who is, make sure to send them to me, and I'll give them instructions on how to enroll in that course. I do have that printed book, and I know Howard has Howard purchased a copy for him and his team, and there's a couple other folks on the session. So Social Media Pie, how to enjoy a bigger slice of LinkedIn. It's just $19.99. If you purchase it on my website, I'll send you an autographed copy, or you can purchase it on Amazon.com. And I am working on converting it to an audiobook, so stay tuned on details there. In addition, if you're just looking for free tips and resource, hey, I get it. You might be on a limited budget, not looking to have any additional investments at this time. I do offer all of these in Power 30 webinars in this series. So check out my additional webinars that are coming up. I have blogs on LinkedIn. I have a YouTube video library with LinkedIn tips, or you could just follow me on LinkedIn, and I'm always sharing great advice on using the network there. Okay. You go to my website, and I'll also include this in the playback link for you guys if you want to check out any of the links up on screen. All right. So we're going to move into Q&A. Before we do that, I want to ask you guys, if you could, please share right now into chat one thing that you learned today that you're going to implement in LinkedIn this week. Okay, just one thing. Maybe it's working on your header photo. Maybe you're going to post on LinkedIn. I want you to share with me one thing that you're going to incorporate into your LinkedIn activities this week. So go into chat. I love this part of the webinar because it helps me to understand what stuck, right? What was kind of memorable for you, and which was the most helpful tip for you as well. This helps me to steer content for future webinars in this series. Because I'm not a corporate employee, I don't get performance reviews. So this helps me to kind of understand what was working, what was effective in the webinars as well. So go into chat if you could, and just type in one thing that you learned that you're going to implement into your LinkedIn activity. Let's see what everyone has in here. Donna's going to change her banner. So Donna, we're looking forward to seeing that. Michelle's going to change her banner and headline out monthly. Chris is going to develop a 15-minute a day routine. Along those lines, Chris, if I were you, if you're really going to commit to that 15-minute a day routine, figure out a time of day and put a recurring calendar reminder in place. You may do it every single one of those days, but even if you do it only 3 out of 5 of the days, you're better than where you are now, right? So put it as a calendar reminder in a time of day that you know you're likely to follow through with that. All right. Donna says she currently has the boring gray background. So yeah, change that out, Donna, especially if you're using LinkedIn for business development. That's going to help you out. Howard is going to start posting. And hey, here's a little bonus tip. If you don't know what to post on LinkedIn, go onto LinkedIn after we're done here today and tell people about this webinar. You could say something like this. I just attended an amazing LinkedIn webinar led by @Brenda Meller, tag me in the post, right? And learned some great tips to help me with using LinkedIn for business development, for example, and then maybe include like 1 or 2 of those tips in there, okay? It's a great way of saying, hey, I'm using LinkedIn for business development. And some people are going to be curious. They're going to want to know, what are you selling, Howard? They're going to click to go to your profile, and they're going to learn about you, right? So it's a great way of bringing people back to your profile without pushing out a sales message. And I like to do this anytime I go to webinars or events. I post about them afterwards. If you tag me, Howard, in that post, I will go on and I will comment. I will encourage people to visit your profile. I'm going to share some love your way. Okay. And the cool thing about tagging people in posts is when you tag them, it actually goes out to their network as well. It goes into my homepage feed. So you get the benefit of my network seeing your posts. So encourage you to do that. Feel free if you'd like to do that. So I'm going to be looking for your post, Howard, on LinkedIn. Sonia says she's going to change her banner and improve her profile. So looking forward to seeing that new banner on your profile, Sonia. Beth is going to create a posting strategy. So awesome. Any of these are things that you guys could share on LinkedIn, right? You can share them in a post today. Okay. So as we finish off the session here today, we're going to move into Q&A right now. I want to remind you guys before you leave, if you want, you can download chat. What you do is in the chat feature at the bottom where it says to everyone, there's 3 little dots off to the right-hand side, and you click on save chat, and it will copy the chat transcript. It'll put it in your downloads folder on your computer. So any of the links that I shared earlier or the links for other people's profiles that were shared, if you want, you can download those and put those into chat. All right, guys, so we're now going to move into Q&A. So if you do have a question, put question in all caps. And then since we're a smaller group, I'm actually going to allow you to unmute yourself and we can ask our questions live here in the session today. So if anyone has a question, just type the word question in all caps. I'm going to pull the video pane up again. And if you want, you can wave too. I see Donna on the session here. I see Chris. Nice to see all of you this morning. If you have a question, just put question into chat, or you can wave and I will unmute you in this chat there. All right, let's see. And Howard, I want to pull up your profile as an example real quick here. This is a little bit of a bonus technique, something we didn't cover. Howard, you see how in your LinkedIn URL at the top, you've got this A162252. So I'm going to double check in here. So you have not yet simplified your URL. Super easy to do this, Howard. And this is actually in the book. If you haven't gotten to that chapter yet, let me just show you this right now. So if you go into your profile, in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to see a little link that says edit public profile and URL. Click on that. This is so easy. You're going to be amazed at this. And now we're in this edit your public profile settings where it says edit your custom URL. Just click on that little pencil right there. And what I would do if I were you, Howard, is just go into that field and all you can do is edit in the last kind of space after the last slash mark. I would just do Howard Rush. If that's already being used, you might need to do Howard and then your middle initial Rush, or Howard Rush MI for Michigan or something like that. Or Howard Rush Interiors or something like that. You could put a keyword in there, but that's a good way of simplifying. That helps with SEO on LinkedIn and helps people to find the right profile for you. All right. Any other questions, guys? This is your time. No time like the present. If you have any questions, Michelle. So let me just give you guys the ability to unmute yourself. I think you can. Okay, Michelle, you should be able to unmute yourself. What question do you have for me, Michelle? There you go.
Hi, thanks for the session, Brenda. Appreciate it. So does LinkedIn recognize an original post higher in the algorithm versus a repost? Because I repost a lot of my clients, my associates, whatever they post, I think is relevant to my network. How are those viewed?
Yeah, great question. LinkedIn, the goal for LinkedIn is to keep you on the site longer. And they have sat around a table someplace and they've said, we think new content is going to do that better than resharing content. I don't know why. I don't necessarily agree with that. But there's like a whole community of us LinkedIn trainers and coaches, and we've kind of put our heads together and we've analyzed our own data, and we figured out that reshares don't get as much reach as new original posts on LinkedIn. So it's actually better if you're sharing new original content. Now, what I would say, Michelle, is I'm not going to say don't ever reshare content, because what I will do occasionally is I will reshare posts from my company page onto my LinkedIn profile, because that helps to reach more people in my homepage feed, right? Than would be following my page already. But we do know that reshares aren't going to get the same amount of reach. So for example, this post by Patricia Price, it's actually better if you comment on Patricia's post than it is for you to reshare it. And it achieves the same thing, because when you comment, it goes into your homepage feed, and everybody in your, or a portion, I should say, of your first level connections list is going to see that you commented on it. By resharing, it actually starts to counter again at 0, and it's not going to reach as many people. So you actually get more of a running start with commenting on people's posts than you do resharing. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you. I do both, but it's really more powerful to comment is what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's hard to come up with content every day.
Yeah, I know it is. I mean, there are a few things that you can do, Michelle. Like I said, when you're attending events, go in LinkedIn afterwards and talk to people about the event. I just attended this event. Here was the speaker. Here are the top 3 things that I learned. If you also go to your LinkedIn homepage, you might also see they are sharing news items. So if you're struggling with what to post, maybe you could comment on, you could post something that is trending on LinkedIn, but not resharing their post. You could just comment on what's happening, that, things that might be impacting your world. I'm going to give you a bonus tip as well. If you click on start a post, at the bottom, you'll see some little icons, and you'll either see the 3 dots or see more. If you click on that, here's a whole boatload of things you could post about. You can celebrate an occasion. That might be giving somebody kudos. There's a bunch of things that are in there. One of my favorite in here is creating a poll. Polls do really, really well on LinkedIn. I try to post at least 1 poll a week, and they give you 2 options, and you have the ability to add up to 4 options in the poll. What I like to do is think about a question that's related to me in my industry, and ask people, what do they do? And I might talk about LinkedIn strategy or sending out invitations or when they're training their team or something. And I might say, when was the last time you trained your team on business development techniques? And it might be, option 1 might be this year by Zoom. Option 2 might be last year virtual. Option 3 might be 2019 or earlier. And option 4, I like to make it a zinger. So option 4 is either going to be funny or a lead generation source for me. The funny version might be train my team, question mark, right? Or option 4 might be, oh, I need to get around to doing that, right? And either one of those may be an opportunity for me to reach out to the people. I can see who responded, and I can invite them to connect. So polls do really well if you're struggling with what to post. Just think about what's happening in the world right now. We're in Michigan here, and I might post about the weather in Michigan going from warm to cold. I think about, like, when we were back in the workplace, those conversations you would have with people inside the coffee room. Like, can you believe this weather? Can you believe the traffic that was? I mean, you think about things that people are talking about and create a poll. And the poll in my case on the weather might be, it's spring in Michigan. We've had warm days and they keep going back and forth. What's your favorite season? Spring, summer, winter, fall, right? Quick and easy post. I'm not asking you to divulge your social security number or tell me what keeps you up late at night. It's an easy thing, and everybody's going to want to put their favorite option in there, right? So think about things that are conversational. Those make for really good items on LinkedIn. Thank you for asking the question, Michelle. Was that helpful for you?
Very much.
All right, very good. All right, guys, no time like the present. Any final questions before we wrap? You can either wave or you can unmute yourself since we're a smaller group here. I'm going to stop the recording at this point.